Welcome to another edition of Addon Spotlight. I am Miss Bizz, and today I'm going to be showing you Wykkyd's Toolbar. Now I have it pulled down to the middle of my screen right now so that you can see it a little better, but normally this is at the very top of my screen. What Wykkyd's Toolbar is pretty much an info hub. It can tell you all sorts of things. How many alliance points you have, how much gold you have, soul gems, how full your inventory is, and more. So now that you see how it works, because it's pretty simple, it just shows you information, I'm going to show you all the great settings and options you have with this. Now we're going to start at the very top. I'm in my add-on settings for Wykkyd Toolbars. Very first up, you have advanced settings. This is where you can actually save your current toolbar as a default so that you can actually just go load it on your other characters, or if you have a couple different characters with different toolbars, you can mimic another specific character. You can also reset everything. I'm going to go a little bit farther into the advanced setting controls. As you can see, on Lovia, this is what my compass looks like. I can go on to Addons, a different character, type in Lovia's name into mimic another character's setting, and hit enter, it'll reload my UI. Here now you can see I have the exact same options as Lovia, but I'm actually on Addons. If I make any changes whatsoever to Lovia's toolbar, it's actually also going to change on Addons because I'm just mimicking her settings. That is how the mimic another character's setting happens. If I remove Lovia's name from this little text box, it will revert back to what I had before. Here we have tool alignment, so this way you can actually align your tool left and it wants to. I don't know how that one works, but the best part is aligning it in the center. So you'll see I actually put a little off center, it pops right to the center, so don't worry, it'll be perfectly centered whenever you would like it. Then we have lock toolbar in place. If I click this, that means I can no longer just drag the toolbar around at will, or I can lock it at horizontal center, which is awesome because it means no matter what, it is going to go to the center no matter where on the screen I put it. That's really, really handy. Then we have bump compass down. I'm going to show you this one because that one is actually quite important. As you can see, I actually have this toolbar scaled up quite large to make it more visible in the video, but when I hover over that way shrine, you cannot see any of the words above the compass at all. So that's especially kind of a pain when you're trying to follow a quest marker and it tells you exactly what it's for above the icon, but you can't see anything. So I'll go back into my settings, I will bump the compass down, and look at that! Now I can actually read the wording above my compass. Oh, looks like a dark anchor just went off. You can also enable a background, which I have done right now just because I think it might make it a little bit easier for you guys to see on the video, but normally I don't have the background enabled. So, ta-da! Here we have the background. Toolbar scale. Normally when I am playing, I have this set at 100. For me, just playing, this is perfect. It stays out of the way of my compass really well. But once again, just to make it a little easier for you watching the video, I have it scaled up as far as it will go. So like I said, this is an info hub. It gives you a ton of information. So what information can it offer you? A lot. Look at all this stuff it offers you. I'm going to go through each one by one because even all these have different options. Clock. I love this, except sometimes it reminds you that you're playing way too late. So you can have 24-hour clock, 12-hour clock, or like with almost every single setting, you can show the title for what that thing is. So I can actually make it say time and then have the clock show. As well, set if I want AM or PM. Frames per second. This is really cool. You can have it show you your FPS and you can have it change colors depending on if you have bad or good FPS. So moderate is 22, but if I change that moderate to 60, as long as my FPS drops below 60, it will turn yellow. My FPS won't drop low enough, but the low threshold will actually make your FPS turn red. Ping rate. Now, this is really handy because yes, there's an in-game option for ping, but it only goes to 999. Wykkyd's Toolbar is not limited in that way, so it'll show you your true ping rate above 999, although nobody likes it to be that, at least you know. And once again, you can set it for your poor and bad latency to make it yellow or red. Here you can have it show you your zone, and if you need a reminder for what Stormhaven is, you can have it say zone in front of it. Some other simple ones are character name, character race, and character class. I don't know, maybe you have a couple characters that are twins or triplets and you're not exactly sure which one you're on. Here we have another cool one, especially while you're leveling. You can show your level as well, show the title for it. Now keep in mind this actually will be smart, so if you're level 1 to 50, it'll show you level 1 to 50, but if you're level 50, it will start showing your champion point level. So here you can see I have 621 champion points. Experience bar is pretty simple. It just kind of shows you how much XP you have until your next level, or if you're level 50, how much XP you have and how much is empty until your next champion point. Along with this, you can actually show the numbers of your XP or CP. Once again, depends if you're level 50 yet or not, and there's a lot of different options here. You can say, oh, I've learned 87%, or I still need 87,000 XP to get my next champion point. Do it by percentage. Do percentage out of total. You can do all sorts of different ways here. You can choose to use the commas and choose to show the title if you like. Vampire or Werewolf XP bar. This shows you how much to level up for your next step in Vampire or Werewolf. Funny story, my crafter is actually a werewolf, but she just never actually uses being a werewolf. Here we have a horse training timer. This is fantastic for all your different characters as they're trying to get their horses maxed out. There is a couple different versions of this. You can actually choose a fancy timer, which currently I need to train. I'll show you all these once I have trained to show you what it shows. Here, it just tells me train in all capital letters. Descriptive does the same thing, and countdown shows me that I have 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds until I can next feed them. Here I can set it to hide the training timer when everything is maxed, or you can just come and turn it off, and I can show the horse icon. So now that we see what these say, let's see what happens when I actually train. Now you can see that it says my horse is learning, so I can't go train him, he's learning right now. That is what the fancy one says. Descriptive says I have 19 hours until I can next train my horse, or I can actually show the countdown, which shows me the hours, minutes, and seconds until I can train my horse next. Moving on, we have bag space. This is probably my favorite part of this toolbar. You can turn it off, you can show used out of total, so I have 102 slots used out of my 200, or I can use a percentage. So my bag is 51% full, or your free percent, it is 49% empty. Set it up to however you want. You can show your title. I personally prefer to show the icon for this, just that seems simpler. And once again, just like your FPS and everything, you can set a moderate to low threshold. So this means once I get to a certain point, it's going to turn it yellow. When I get to really low bag space at whatever point I set, it's going to turn red. Kind of give you a heads up you need to go visit a merchant. Soul gems. Show soul gem counter. Now my favorite one is to show empty or full. You can just show how many empty soul gems you have or how many full ones you have, but to me it makes sense to see how many empty I have versus how many full ones I have. Once again, I can show the icon so I know what the heck this is for. Gold. Love knowing how much gold I have on hand. Ooh, today I'm pretty rich. I normally don't have this much gold. But you can show your title, show your icon, use commas or not. Not a whole lot of options with showing your gold. Alliance points. This shows you how many alliance points you have. And I mean this like the currency version. So of course you could actually spend alliance points and technically you still have that many for leaderboard reasons. But this Toolbar will actually show you how many you have for currency. So how many alliance points I have to spend at a vendor. Show the icon, show title, or use commas. You can also show your repair cost, how much you need to actually spend to repair your gear. This could actually be a good indicator of how broken your gear is as you get used to how much gold it costs to just barely repair gear versus pretty much fully repair your gear. Here we have our weapon charge bars. If you have a hard time keeping track if your weapon is charged or not, or you just want to be able to see before they're totally empty and the default game icon pops up, this is really handy. It will show you your front bar and your back bar so that you can see both your weapons at the same time and how much of a charge they have. The last option we have in Wykkyd's toolbar is research timers. I had to hop onto a different character to be able to show you this one. So you can turn everything on. You can actually group all your timers together, which means that my horse timer will now be right beside my research timers. And of course you can add your little craft icon so you know which craft you're waiting on. There's a couple different options, so I'm going to go start researching something to show you what it looks like in action. Right now I have nothing being researched, so that's why my countdown is at 0, or if I go to fancy it says jobs done. Now that I've actually started researching a clothing item, I can show you what all these options do. Under your research timers you can pick how these show. Fancies will show study, red, etc. The only thing is, right now I have a couple open slots, so I have a couple jobs done, and I am currently researching a clothing item, so it still says jobs done, but it's green to show I am actually researching someone else. Here you have descriptive, and it will tell you how far off until your research is done. With that, you can actually choose your timer target time. Time to next free slot or time to all slots free, because you can have different timers for three different clothing items because you know more traits on one than the other. You can talk about percentage left, which doesn't really help you all that much with timers, or adaptive. So this will be hours and minutes at first, and once it gets down below hours, it will show minutes and seconds. Of course, you can also do a good old countdown. Here you can actually also show how many slots you've used. So if I show total slots, this means I can research 3 of each craft type item at once. This is because I have the passive maxed out. Something more probably useful is showing your slots used out of how many slots you have. So here I can see I'm researching 1 out of 3 clothing slots. So I could be researching 2 more clothing traits. Same as all the other add-ons I show, you can find Wykkyd Toolbar on ESOUI.com. You can also download this add-on using Minion. Well, that's all I have to show you about Wykkyd's Toolbar, the most fantastic hub for Elder Scrolls Online I've found so far. This add-on steadily gets updated, so don't worry, it's not abandoned, and hope you enjoy all your newfound information. I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.